In this question, you have to identify the condition when asymptote in a logistic growth curve is obtained. Now, asymptote is a mathematical term, which means a curve is a line such that the distance between the curve and the line approaches zero as the x coordinates tend to infinity. Now, a population growing in a habitat with limited resources shows a logistic growth curve. And for logistic growth curve, dn by dt is equal to Rn into k minus n by k. Now, if k equal to n, then k minus n by k would be 0. Then dn by dt obviously would be 0. And the population then reaches asymptote. Now, coming to the options, option A, k equal to n. Now, in a logistic growth curve, we have already seen that the asymptote is reached when the population size, that is n, equals the carrying capacity, that is k. And at this point, the population growth becomes 0 because the environment can no longer support additional individuals, leading to stabilization of the population. Hence, it is the correct option. Option B, when k is greater than n. This is incorrect because in this condition, the population is still growing because there are enough resources to support an increase. So the growth curve has not yet reached the asymptote. Option C, when k is less than n. It is also incorrect because in this condition, the population exceeds the carrying capacity. And this leads to negative growth as the population decreases due to resource limitations or other factors. So this is not the point where an asymptote is observed. Option D, the value of R approaches 0. Now, small r denotes the intrinsic growth rate. Now, while R does slow down as the population approaches K, but this is not the consequence of reaching K. And it is not the defining condition for reaching the asymptote. The asymptote, as already mentioned, is specifically defined when K is equal to N. Hence, this is also incorrect. In this question, you have to identify which one is related to ex situ conservation of threatened animals and plants. Option A, biodiversity hotspots. It is incorrect because biodiversity hotspots are regions that are rich in species diversity and are conserved in their natural habitats. That is, it is an example of in situ conservation. Option B, Amazon rainforest. It is also incorrect because the Amazon rainforest is a natural habitat for diverse species and it is an example of in situ conservation. Option C, Himalayan region. It is also incorrect because it is also an example of in situ conservation because it's a natural habitat where the species are conserved in their natural surroundings. Option D, wildlife safari parks. Now, wildlife safari parks or zoological parks are examples of ex situ conservation. That is, it involves the conservation of animals outside their natural habitats in a controlled environment. Hence, it is the correct option. In this question, you have to identify the ecosystem that has the maximum biomass. Option A, grassland ecosystem. Now, grasslands have a moderate levels of biomass, primarily in the form of grasses and shrubs. Hence, it is incorrect option. Option B, pond ecosystem. It is also incorrect because ponds are aquatic ecosystem and they are with relatively low biomass. Option C, lake ecosystem. It is also incorrect because like ponds, lakes also have limited biomass. Option D, forest ecosystem. Now, forest ecosystem have the maximum biomass because of a large number of trees which are very massive and they are also long-lived. So trees contribute to the biomass through their trunks, branches, leaves, roots. And tropical rainforest particularly have the highest biomass among all ecosystems due to their dense vegetation and favorable growth conditions. Hence, it is the correct option. In this question, you have to identify the type of ecosystem in which the presence of plants arranged in well-defined vertical layers depending on their height can be seen. Option A, tropical rainforest. Tropical rainforests exhibit a well-defined vertical stratification of plants And these layers include the emergent layer, the canopy, understory, and the forest floor, with each layer supporting distinct plant and animal life. And this vertical arrangement is due to the dense vegetation and competition for sunlight. Hence, it is the correct option. Option B, grassland. It is incorrect because grasslands are dominated by grasses with scattered shrubs and trees, but they lack the dense vegetation which is needed to form a well-defined vertical layers. Option C, temperate forest. It is also incorrect because temperate forests have some stratification such as canopy and understory, but the layers are not very well defined or diverse as in the tropical rainforests. Option D, tropical savanna. It is also incorrect because tropical savannas are characterized by grasses with scattered trees and shrubs, and they do not have dense vegetation or distinct vertical layers that are found in tropical rainforest. Alexander von Humboldt described for the first time option A, laws of limiting factor. It is incorrect because it was proposed by Blackman. Option B, species area relationship. Now, Alexander von Humboldt described the species area relationship, demonstrating that within a habitat, species richness increases with increasing area, but only up to a certain limit. And this is regarded as a fundamental concept in ecology. Hence, it is the correct option. Option C, population growth equation. It is also incorrect because this equation was developed by Thomas Malthus. Option D, ecological biodiversity. Now, while Humboldt made some contributions to ecology, but the specific term ecological diversity is not credited to him. Hence, it is incorrect. Mycorrhiza are example of option A, amensalism. Now, it is incorrect because it refers to a relationship where one organism is inhibited or destroyed while the other remains unaffected. But this is not the case for mycorrhiza. Option B, antibiosis. It is also incorrect because it refers to a relationship where one organism produces a substance that inhibits or kills another organism. Option C, mutualism. Now, mycorrhiza represent a mutualistic relationship between fungi and the plant roots, where fungi help the plants to absorb nutrients like phosphorus and plants provide the fungi with carbohydrates. Hence, it is the correct option. Option D, fungistasis. It is incorrect because it refers to the inhibition of fungal growth without killing the fungi. In this question, you have to identify the wrong statement regarding aerosols. Option A, they alter rainfall and monsoon patterns. Now, this is true. Aerosols can indeed influence weather and climate by affecting cloud formation, and this alters rainfall and monsoon patterns as well. Hence, it is incorrect option. Option B, they cause increased agricultural productivity. Now, this is wrong regarding aerosol because aerosols have a negative impact on agricultural productivity because the global sunlight is diminished, and the deposition of harmful pollutants on the crops further reduces the agricultural productivity. Hence, it is the correct option. Option C, they have negative impact on agricultural land. This is true because aerosols can settle on soil, leading to soil contamination and reduced fertility. Thus, it has negative effect on agricultural land. Hence, it is incorrect option. Option D, they are harmful to human health. This is also true because aerosols contain fine particulate matter that can enter or penetrate deep into the lungs as well as the bloodstream, causing respiratory and cardiovascular diseases. Hence, it is also incorrect option. In this question, you have to point out that which zone of the biosphere reserve is legally protected and where no human activity is allowed. Option A, buffer zone. It is incorrect because the buffer zone allows limited human activities such as research or sustainable resource use. Option B, transition zone. It is also incorrect. The transition zone, which is the outermost area of the biosphere reserve, consist of human settlements and sustainable economic activities such as agriculture and forestry. Option C, restoration zone. It is also incorrect because this term does not refer to a specific zone in a biosphere reserve. Option D, core zone. The core zone is the innermost and most protected area of the biosphere reserve, and it is legally protected, strictly monitored, and no human activity is allowed to preserve its biodiversity and ecological integrity. Hence, it is the correct option.